right, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is, wherever it is that you are. Welcome once more to another video podcast of Political News Time, coming at you from the PNTLIVE network. I'm your hostess, Alex Mayers. Now, if you're someone who religiously follows me, you know that my past couple podcasts or broadcasts have revolved around some fairly intense issues and topics, right? I was mad last night, but I'm better today. I was hesitant actually to post the edited version of last night's podcast, and I still haven't posted the second part of it yet, because after doing the podcast, y'all know me, I'm a curious kitty. I decided to pop on over to the individual in question's YouTube channel because he was live streaming, and I'm talking about Skimask Andy. All right. I learned a lot about Skimask Andy last night, and I do stand by everything I said in last night's podcast. I definitely do need to keep my distance just for my own sake when it comes to the performer who I will not name, even though people who follow me, you know who I'm talking about. But when it comes to the performer I will not name's current love interest, I am opening my free counseling and advisor services to him because he is very angry. I think sometimes he might need a sounding board. So he actually sent me some very nice text today, essentially taking accountability for a bit of his rants that I did include in my first part of last night's podcast. And I think that was very big of him. I think that that shows a lot of character and a lot of potential, because this individual does have a lot of potential. He does. I think what happens with people sometimes is that they don't have anyone to talk to who does not have a self-serving agenda who they're talking to. I believe that therapy and counseling should be a free public service within the United States of America. It would definitely make our country a far better place. But being that that's not the case, there are people like me out there who we live to help. That's why we are here. Many people push people such as myself away, and that's their choice, because I am not for everybody. But when it comes to Skimask Andy, I will say, if you are an adult performer or a porn star, do not mess with him. He has a lot of work to do on himself. Considering his innate feelings about the adult entertainment industry and pornography as a whole, and look, he's just in feeling how he does. He actually doesn't know how correct and on point he is about a few things.
Hold on one damn minute. I'll be motherfucking amazed if this bitch is not on my side and just won't admit it. I'll be fucking amazed if this bitch does not feel the exact same way as me and simply hates the fact that I used colorful, flavorful language. She was on the show last night. She's the one that called in. She is a smart lady. I'm not taking that from her. But she literally has the same viewpoint that porno is used in an evil, manipulative way to push agendas. She just refused. She just doesn't, it's hard to fucking be a black woman and agree with the shit I'm saying, obviously.
I think that he should hold on to his reservations about that world. That world is not for him. The retired performer, who I shall not name, we're actually going to get into tonight a part of what it is to create an authentic relationship for yourself outside of the adult entertainment industry. Because there's one key thing that if she genuinely, authentically does want to be in that relationship with him, there's one key thing that she needs to do. Actually, let me write it down right now. Because but we're going to talk about some things that I think would help her. And if she's going to stay with this guy, Skimask Andy, things that would help him as well. He actually, and I tweeted this earlier, he'd have to clean himself up a bit first. Stop smoking weed. And I know a lot of you out there are like, oh, it's my medicine. I need my weed. No, you don't. I don't care if I seem like an old stick in the mud, because perhaps I am. But look, I used to party with the best of them when I was younger. Keep in mind, I'm 41 years old nowadays, okay? But right now, I'm approaching 10 months completely free of cigarettes and alcohol. My alcohol of choice was cider artois beer. I loved hard cider, but I gave it all up because I wanted to be skinnier. I wanted to live forever. And I wanted to be as productive as possible over the next few years, because there's quite a few things I know I'm going to need to do. So I got myself completely off of everything. I have no addictions in my life except for to podcasting. Okay. And you know, hey, that's a productive thing. You never know where political news time will go. But when it comes to Skimask Andy, my suggestion at least would be to stop smoking weed for a while, stop drinking, stop everything, and see what kind of a person you become. It's going to be hard to wane yourself off and everything, but you can do it. Just don't buy the weed anymore. Don't buy cigarettes if you smoke cigarettes. Don't buy any alcohol. Try to put yourself in an environment to where people around you will support you not doing that, if possible. And really, you'll only have about 2 months of feeling because you know all the crap is going to come out your body. But I'm curious to see who Skimask Andy would actually become if he didn't smoke weed. I mean, you know, considering a lot of the ideals that he seems to have about life that revolve around what many people would consider racism, some people would consider tribalism. He could go, he could potentially do something quite phenomenal with himself. I actually think that he would be a very effective Christian anti-porn activist.
But here, let me tell you what she told me. So here's what happens. I told you how, like, you know, this I'm not gonna go. I don't want to get too over the top. I'm kind of chilling, waking up. You see, it's turning daylight out. So I was saying the idea, the reason the porn people make interracial porn in such a disgust. It's one thing if it was just one black dude and one white chick. Like, that's not even the shit I'm necessarily talking about, okay? That might be something I wouldn't agree with personally, but that's not even the shit I'm talking about. You guys know the shit I'm talking about. The fucking over-the-top, like, cartoon, disrespectful, disgusting, shameful stuff that happens. You guys know, stepping on faces, spitting on people, fucking... putting their face in your ass, calling them white bitches and motherfucking, you know, blah, blah, blah. That's the type of shit I'm talking about, right? So there's these people, you guys know who they are, and they own the porno companies. They are the people that use others to promote their ridiculous agendas. Whether it be manipulating motherfucking capitalism, whether it be starting wars, whether it be you know, manipulating world trade. Like, they run everything basically. So one of the ways they do it is with this stupid ass porn shit where they get girls, some of them are white, some of them are half white like Bobby, some of them are Jewish. They all look white. So they get the white girls, they go and fucking smut them out with a group of fucking typical, like it's so cartoony. There's like the most stereotypical racist black scene you could ever imagine. It's like fucking 18 gang members standing around with like matching bandanas, dressed like a fucking background dancer for Janet Jackson. And then there's one white girl in the middle getting peed and pooped on and spit on and cummed on and yada yada yada. So they want to pretend like this happens in America. This never happens in America, except for one in probably like 17 million women have done this. That would be like fucking 20 women in their life have done this shit personally. Out of like 200 million, I would say like 1 in fucking 10 million has done this disgusting shit, getting spit on and pissed on for fucking the lols or whatever. Like, no, the whole idea, the whole scheme all along was to get the 1 out of 10 girls into actual prostitution to take all their money. This is just typical. They get these girls from Florida, New York, Ohio, motherfucking Texas, and they bring them out there to LA to the porn. They get them out there, they get them set up for the first month or two to where they got a lot of bills. They're living nice. They probably got like $5,000 in expenses. They're in $3,000 apartments with like, you know, $700 car leases and blah, blah, blah. They get used to a lifestyle and then immediately it's taken out from underneath them. And then there's porno companies, the pimps are like, hey, we're not gonna book you anymore to do porno, but look, this is your only option. Like, you smutted yourself out. You're useless, worthless, disgusting. We'll go and just, you can do regular sex. And so instead of getting paid that, you know, the $5,000 every, you know, you get paid $2,500 a scene, however many scenes you book a month, usually 2 or 3, I don't know, once a week maybe. Which is decent money. You can make like 10 grand a month without even trying if you were a chick that was doing the original porn that she started out doing. But once you're all the way down to the smutted porn, you're making like $1,000 instead of $2,500 for the scene. And then they just take that all the way. You end up fucking random Johns organized through other websites that are ran by the same porno companies and pimps that had the whole scheme all along to get the 1 out of 10 girls. You figure they run 1,000 girls through there. You might got 100 new hookers. You put them on these internet websites. Rich old white dudes pay money. I mean, everyone pays money, but I'm saying mostly like it's old, rich, white, successful dudes who just want simple pussy, like good-looking porn star pussy. And yeah, they're pretty much just, they're into that. Now, what ends up happening is, you know.
If you see this podcast, Skimask Andy, research Shelley Lubben. Her ending wasn't so great, okay? But if you research her, you can learn from her mistakes. Something to think about, and I'll leave it at that. So let's go ahead and get into